And the very first thing I started doing was trying to help kids figure out what their strengths were. This was a game changer for me, like a legit game changer. And not only because we could figure out more about the student, but because it lights them up.
Hey, I'm Kathleen Rumford from Katalytic Empowerment, where we delve into topics for parents and homeschoolers. And in this 6-part Katalytic Empowerment series, we'll be learning from our guest, Donnie Fitzpatrick, who you just briefly heard. In today's part 3, Donnie shares 4 signs to determine a true strength and how you can use those to help your kids identify what their true strengths are so they can start living into them without shame. You can do this for yourself as well.
Once again, this is Marcus's work. And I've just adapted it for kids, but it's totally applicable. So the 4 signs of a strength are this. 1, you have a yearning for the topic or activity. Kids love that when you talk about yearning. They're always like, what does that word mean? But yearning is just like, you got to hunger for it. Yeah. Okay. You have a natural curiosity. So not only are you hungry to go do it, but you've got a curiosity about it. It's like, nobody's saying go and like, it's the kind of thing where a kid goes home and goes, okay, clicks, and they start looking on the internet and nobody's asking them to do it. They're just going for it. They've got a curiosity for it. The third one, which is really cool, and you'll hear this about, there's a book called Flow, and a lot of people may have heard about it or whatnot, but the third sign is time flies by when you're doing it. 3 hours seems like 5 minutes. And we all have that as adults. We have those experiences. And on the flip side of that, 5 minutes can also seem like 3 hours. Like me on the computer going through certain things, and like it is like I did used to have hair. I pulled it all out just because I was on the, like, I'm like, I struggle with this. And then the fourth thing is, after you've done the activity, you feel strong. Even if it was hard, it's like, oh yeah, but you know what? I did that. Good. And there's a little bit of a hunger, and now what can happen is you can easily find kids that have all of these sorts of activities, and a lot of them will have nothing to do with traditional school. So my job I felt was like, okay, so you love hanging out with your friends. Tell me about that. What is it about hanging out with your friends you like? Well, and then they start spewing all this information. And what I'm listening for is, what are the verbs that they're talking about? Well, I love, you know what? I like connecting. We talk on the phone. Oh, talking. So what specifically about talking is it? Like, what kinds of conversations are you guys having? And then you realize that this child loves to listen. They love to piece together a story in their head. They love to take that story and look for solutions within it. But normally what happens is when a person says, we shame them. Get off the phone. You're on the freaking phone all the time. Why are you talking? Get off the phone. And I understand that. I'm not saying that's not a boundary or an established rule that you like to have in your house, but I wouldn't be so quick to gloss over it, because there is a ton of information in there. Kids video gaming. There is tons of information. Like, is it the strategy you like? Is it the competition? Is it trying to beat where you were before? Is it that you want to understand how all of these things work together and how you could create your own version of it? Is it that you like interacting and working as a team with other people?
We're getting comments. So Claudia says, totally agree. I'm a retired physician. I was great at it, but it wasn't good for me. I love being home with my kids, teaching, and I have a consulting job. Perfect. It took me a long time to figure it out. Exactly. They want kids to fit into, they're talking about the school system. They want kids to fit into the norm. Or the counselors. And she says, I often said my biggest curse was the fact I was a great student. Now I have a child who learns differently. And it's amazing to me how much more intelligent he is than I am, but it took me taking him out of school to find it, because the model of traditional school was not great for him. And he was an honor student, but he wasn't learning much at all. This is what COVID showed me. This is really cool. Yeah.
They're very powerful.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Claudia. said, I'm confused though. Wouldn't it be irresponsible to encourage a kid who can't do science to go into medical school because he loves science, even if he can't do it?
Great question.
Yeah.
So there's a distinction in this, right? So let's say I'm really like I'm super passionate about science, but my skills aren't there. The key isn't that, well, I want to be a professional pilot and I don't have the skills to do it. The key is that you're encouraging them to be able to explore and go down that road without shaming. That's the key piece. Because if I'm a student, because what we're trying to do is get them to fall in love with the experience of education, get them to fall in love with the things that they are and not bury it. So if a child goes along and we encourage them and encourage them and encourage them because this is where their passion is, they are going to figure out they don't have that. They're going to realize this is not the thing. What we do sometimes with the best of intentions, we want to stop that from happening. We want to protect them from all of these things. And the other thing is that sometimes people bloom late. Like we have an idea of the way things are supposed to go sequentially. I'm telling you, just this morning, before I came here for this, there was a sweetheart girl who had been going through, like she'd struggled and struggled and struggled in school, grade 9 and grade 10. She had so many different things going on in her life. And now here she is, and she is super dialed in. She's not dialed in because she has to be. She's dialed in because it's like, I see value in this now. And also she learned a few strategies to be able to help her. Now, I'm not saying that if somebody is absolutely terrible in science, that they can't, that you should be like, yes, go and do that. You're going to become this. It's not about saying that you are going to have that happen. But imagine, I mean, this is what I find when I talk to adults and even when I look at myself. Some of the worst things that I look at in my life are when the frustration and regret I have that I didn't put my best foot forward. I have regret around, I wish I'd done but what stopped me from doing it? And when I track it back and I go back to why I didn't do it, usually it was fear-based about something that somebody had said to me or some belief I had that somebody put onto me. I'm not talking about like, we should just be like, oh no, you can have a belief and just power through anything. But what I am saying is that it never hurts to provide that space to allow them to explore it more and for them to kind of conclude on their own, maybe this isn't a good fit. When we try to take control of those reins sometimes, and I see it happen at school all the time, we do more damage than not just having them go in that direction. The kids that I've talked with, and I've talked to thousands of them, it's what that does when a person says, I can't do this. Because now, not only did I necessarily maybe think that I couldn't do it, but now you don't believe in me. And so it's really about how do you craft that kind of conversation so that you can give them the space to go and explore a little bit, but at the same time, be there and kind of go, oh, we should maybe consider this or take a look at this. A great question. I don't know if I totally answered that, but it's give them space to kind of explore it. It doesn't mean that it has to, it doesn't hurt. But at the end of the day, you just got to be really thoughtful about how you navigate that conversation.
To get the most out of this series, please join us for part 4, where we discuss how anyone, whether teen or adult, can determine their strengths and what it is that they really want. And as always, please like this video and subscribe to our channel and check out relevant links in the description. Till next time, take care and God bless.